Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Mukund Radha Kundiri Govardhan ki Navandham ki Vrindavan Dham ki Madhuri Dham ki Chala Jagannath Puri Purushottama Kshetra Dham ki Dhamma Videvi ki Saraswati Devi ki Karnavati Devi ki Vasimani Bhakti Devi ki Samavita Bhakta Varinda ki, Vrihan Vridanga ki, Vrihan Sankirtan Yagya ki, Jai Gaur Premanande. Om Vishnu Samradhavati, Om Vishnu Samradhavati, Om Vishnu Samradhavati, Om Vishnu Samradhavati, Om Vishnu Samradhavati. Possible de switcher sur l'ordi.
Ah, oui. Je sais comment le faire. Ouais, je sais comment faire.
Narayanam namaskrityam naram chiva narotamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat nashtaprayas vabhadarishu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate uritamashloke bhaktir bhavati neshtiki kam karoti vacharam pangum yangareti girim yat kripaham mahatam vande shigurudinatarinam paramananda bhadhavam susitanyam ishvaram. C'est bon. Qu'est-ce que tu penses? Merci beaucoup. Ok, parfait. C'était quel verset?
12.
Ça va. Voilà. Ok, donc on commence à partir de là. Il n'y a pas de teneur reportée, s'il vous plaît, ne récitez pas le sanskrit avec moi. Sachabot sumahat punya kaushiki lokapavani reno sutamrenu kamvei jamadagnir uvahayam tasyam vei bhargavadishe sutavasmad adaya yaviyan yagyaitesham ram ityabhi vishrutaha. Translation. Satyavati later became the sacred river Kaushiki to purify the entire world, and her son Jamanagni married Renuka, the daughter of Renu. By the semen of Jamanagni, many sons headed by Vasuman were born from the womb of Renuka. The youngest of them was named Ram, or Parshuram. Yam haur vasudevam sham ehayanam kurantakam turi saptakridvo yahimam chakre nikshaktiryam mahim. Translation. Then scholars accept this Parshuram as the celebrated incarnation of Vasudeva who annihilated the dynasty of Kartavirya. Parshuram killed all the Kshatriyas on earth 21 times. Now we can recite this verse together. Driptam kshatram bhuvo bharam.
Driptam kshatram bhuvo bharam.
Abramanyam aminashat.
Abramanyam aninashat.
Ajastamuvritam hahan.
Rajastamuritam ahan.
Palgunya prikritem nasi.
Argunya vikritem mahasi.
Driptam kshatram bhuvo bharam.
Driptam kshatram bhuvo bharam.
Abramanyam aminashat.
Abramanyam aninashat.
Ajastamuvritam hahan.
Rajastamo vritam aham.
Halgunya kritem nasi.
Argunya pikritem nasi.
Special words.
Dritam kshatram bhuvo bharam.
Kritam
kshatram
bhuvo bharam.
Abramanyam aninashat.
Abramanyam aninashat.
Rajastamo vritam aham.
Rajastamo vritam aham.
Argunya pikritem hasi.
Halgunya kritem nasi.
Kritam kshatram bhuvo bharam.
Dritam kshatram bhuvo bharam.
Abramanyam aninachat.
Abramanyam aninasat.
Rajastamo vritam aham.
Rajastamo vritam aham.
Arguni apikritim asi.
Halgunya kritem nasi. Any of the Vaishnavas?
Druptam Shatram Bhuvo Bharam
Dritam kshatram bhuvo bharam.
Abramanyam Adinashat
Abramanyam aninasat.
Rajastamo Vratam Mahan
Rajastamo vritam aham.
Varguni Apikrite Masi
Argunya apikritim asi.
Okay. So, word for word. Driptam,
Dritam,
very proud.
very proud.
Shatram, the
Kshatram,
Kshatriyas, the ruling class.
the Kshatriya, the ruling class.
Bhuvaham,
Bhuva,
of the earth.
of the earth.
Haram,
Bharam,
burden.
burden.
Abramanyam,
Abramanyam,
sinful, not caring for the religious principles
sinful, not caring for the religious principles
enunciated by the Brahmanas.
enunciated by the Brahmana.
Aninasat,
Aninashat,
drove away or annihilated.
drove away or annihilated.
Rajatama,
Rajatama,
by the qualities of patience and ignorance.
by the qualities of passion and ignorance.
Ritam,
Ritam,
covered.
covered.
Aham,
Ahan,
he killed.
he killed.
Phaguni,
Farguni,
not very great.
not very great.
Happy,
Happy,
although
although
Rite
Krite
had been committed.
had been committed
Amhasi,
Amhasi,
an offense.
an offense.
Translation by Stephen Grace and purport by Vaishnava Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. When the royal dynasty, being excessively proud because of the material modes of passion and ignorance, became irreligious and ceased to care for the laws enacted by the Brahmanas, Parashuram killed them. Although their offense was not very severe, he killed them to lessen the burden of the world. Purport. The Kshatriya or the ruling class must govern the world in accordance with the rules and regulations enacted by great Brahmanas and saintly persons. As soon as the ruling class becomes irresponsible in regard to the religious principles, it becomes a burden on the earth. As stated here, Rajastamo Vritam Bharam Abramanyam. When the ruling class is influenced by the lower modes of nature, namely ignorance and passion, it becomes a burden to the world and must then be annihilated by superior power. We actually see from modern history that monarchies have been abolished by various revolutions, but unfortunately the monarchies have been abolished to establish the supremacy of third-class and fourth-class man. Although monarchy is overpowered by the modes of passion and ignorance have been abolished in the world, the inhabitants of the world are still unhappy. Although the qualities of the former monarchs were degraded by taints of ignorance, these monarchs have been replaced by men of the mercantile and worker classes whose qualities are even more degraded. When the government is actually guided by Brahmanas or God-conscious men, then there can be real happiness for the people. Therefore, in previous times, when the ruling class was degraded to the modes of passion and ignorance, the Brahmanas, headed by such a Kshatriya spirited Brahmana as Parashuram, killed them 21 consecutive times. We'll read further on, but I need to comment a few things first. Om Agyan Timlandasya Gyanangara Shalakaya Shakshurnityam Yana Tasme Shigurave Namaha Shishitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yana Bhutare Svayam Rupam Kadamahyam Datati Svapadam Tikam Ondayam Shri Guru Shivatapadakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunatam Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shrivishakham Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamsana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Ansakar Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Bhavani Bhiyo Vaishnavi Bhiyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shvasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are in a situation where actually the son of Janmanagni, the youngest son, is called Parshuram, and he was, as mentioned by Prabhupada, a spirited Kshatriya Brahmana. So we have seen previously how Parshuram was born from a Kshatriya dynasty, Brahmana dynasty, but with a Kshatriya mantra. So the sanskar was meant for him to be born with a Kshatriya nature, but he was born also from the semen of Rishika. So therefore he was also Brahmanically endowed with qualities of Sattva-gun, and there is a mixture like this of qualities in him, and he could not tolerate offenses of Kshatriya. Therefore, when Kshatriya were degraded, not respecting the Brahmanas and doing offenses, he was 21 consecutive times killing them. In Krishna Lila, we see also it's a generally difficult pastime to conceive. The Yadu dynasty was wiped out because of an offense to a Brahmana. Brahmana headed by Narada Muni. You know, this Samba went to joke with the sages at Prabhas Kshetra, and he told, well, you see, I'm a pregnant woman. He was transvest as a woman, and he put a cushion behind his kurta, and he thought, I will play with the sages because they are supposed to see and foresee the future. So I will ask them if I will have a baby, a boy or a girl. And he went there and he asked to the sages, so will my son, future son, will be a boy or a girl? And Angira, Narada, Atri were all gathered there. They all say, you're a fool. Don't you, can't you see that we know the truth? So you won't deliver a boy nor a girl, but a mass of black steel will be the cause of your destruction. And thereafter, when Samba wanted to take out of his kurta the cushion, then what happens? It was not a cushion anymore, but a mace of black steel. And the Yadus tried to counteract actually the curse of the Brahmanas, but actually they could so if Krishna was willing to do so. Krishna can counteract the curse of anyone upon his devotees, But if that curse is actually benefiting him, then he let everything unfold without intervention. Like, for example, Parikshit Maharaj knew that, okay, this curse can actually be a benefit. So I accept that. Even though he had the potency to nullify the curse, he accepted that, and from that, Bhagavatam narration came. Shukadev Goswami spoke about the glories of Sri Krishna, and that has been the scripture for Kali Yuga to enlighten us. So like this, there can be some instances where Krishna let his devotees being cursed by Brahmanas. Actually, not that devotees can do offenses, it's all part of a pastimes, like that. So the pastimes here was that Yadu's dynasty, they had to leave the planet. Somehow or another, they were most powerful on earth, and nobody could counteract them in terms of opulences, and they would not live by themselves as well, because they had so much opulences, and Krishna was there, and they were all sons of God. So Krishna decided, okay, I have to find a way for them to live. If they don't want to live by themselves, and nobody can kill, then therefore a Brahmana will arrange that. So they have been cursed, and they have been degraded into the mode of ignorance. They fought between each other and killed themselves. And the whole Yadu dynasty disappeared again. Shri Radha Parisisvara Mandir, Subhadra, Shri Sutaki. So, without blessing of the Brahmanas, Kshatriya are falling prey to lower modes, and without pleasing them, they lead themselves to destruction. So that's basically one of the lessons from Krishna's departure. If you don't manage to please a saintly person, if you offend them, if you don't take shelter of them, then most likely, even though you are a great, opulent, powerful, learned ruler, you will fall prey to lower modes, influences, and you will destroy not only yourself, but your whole family, dynasty, and maybe even your country. So, interestingly, in this purport, Prabhupada talks about Kshatriya falling into the mode of passion and ignorance. We usually consider Kshatriya as being predominantly in passion. So if they are in passion, how can they fall into passion? That's a strange conclusion, isn't it? So we understand that rulers needs a vision. This vision is given by Brahmanas, and this vision elevates them to transcendence. Sattva good, Brahma good, and pure bhakti. So like that, Raja should be Rajarshi. They should have a vision. And a spiritual vision is given by spiritual authorities. So, in Bhagavatam it's mentioned, Matri Bhakti Parastrishu Patnyam Adha Ivat Mana Prajasu Pitrivat Snigdaha Brahmano Kinkaram Vidanam. Matri Bhakti Parastrishu means a ruler is. This is a verse coming from the 4th canto, saying how Prithu Maharaj will administrate his kingdom and how he will relate to each other. So as a leader, Prithu Maharaj will Matri Bhakti Parastrishu. He will consider his wife to be his best half. So the queen will be treated so nicely by Prithu Maharaj that she will become the ornament of his kingdom. Today's Prabhupada will say, today wife are wearing plastic banger. So that's how queen or the lady of the president is dressed with plastic stuff and but not much jewel ornament. But it was a time in the prosperous kingdom that the queen and all ladies, even lower caste, will have golden ornaments and will be in the eyes of others and his husband really beautiful. In this way, the queens was captivating the thought of any ladies by her beauty, her chastity, her elegance, and so on. And this was adding to the strength of the king. So they were mutually cooperating. Similarly, our king here, Radha Parisisvara, has her better half, Radharani. So one name of Radharani is Krishna Vamancha Sambhuta, means the better half of Krishna. It's really interesting to see that what's best in Krishna, Radharani is actually displaying. So what's best in Krishna is actually his loving propensities. And Radharani is Prema Murtiman, she is the embodiment of love. So similarly, when we have a king, the queen should represent the best qualities of the king. So if the king is loving, then we should see how the queen is well treated. And by that we will understand, okay, this is how he can treat his queen, therefore he can take care nicely of others. And Matri Bhakti Parasishu Patnyam Ardaivatmana, the king will be really taking care of his better half, and he will consider others' wives as mothers. That's what manager or leader, devotee is doing. So in this way, he's behaving outside of the scope of lust. Because if we consider wife as others' wives as mothers or ladies as mothers, then we start to take out the lust of the relationship. So a king is supposed to be someone who masters self-leadership. That means he has mastering his senses. So if you don't rule yourself, rule your 6 enemies, Kama, Kruda, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Matsaya, then you are unlikely to be able to rule over others correctly. And not only that, but Prajasu Pitrivat Snigdha. He will consider his subject with really care and attention. Snigdha means deep affection. So the goal of a king is not to be only levying taxes. He has to give back the taxes in order to benefit the whole society. So a king, it's mentioned in Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 20, he should be like the sun. A leader should be like the sun. He takes something out of everyone, like the sun is evaporating water from the ocean, but after taking water from the ocean, he used the clouds to send the rain over the land who need water. Similarly, the king should be like that, taking from water, levying taxes, and distributing that to those who need the most, or to the sector of society who needs the most, and like this everyone can be happy. Yet, in today's society, though the France can be a good example of repartition overall, There is a system of security. There is a minimum for those who are living there. Even those who are not French can have access somehow easily to the French donation and so on. So there is a protection and security. This is not everywhere like that. In many countries of Europe, there is not there is not so much protection like that. So we can say somehow the French system is good, but it's not perfect. Not perfect because those who either in kingdom there should not be poverty, there should not be people starving, there should not be people begging in the street. But if you go in Paris, and particularly every corner of the street, you find someone who is asking for a donation. So if you are a wealthy country, this thing should not be seen. If you are administrating the kingdom really nicely, everybody should be at least fed a minimum. But this is not happening. This is not happening, even though there is a minimum amount of salary. People have to struggle so hard to maintain just a wife, a few children, and an apartment. They have to struggle so hard. And yes, that's part of life. But they have to struggle so hard in this kingdom that they don't have any time for spiritual enlightenment. That's the problem. The kingdom should be administrated so nicely that people are working hard, but they have also facilities for spiritual education. So it's one thing to not have any, to redistribute the wealth and so on, but kingdom should be as well Kinkaro Brahmavadinan. They should be under the guidance of saintly person. So that's the point, missing point. In France, we may have wells accessible, which are attracting the land of saintly people. Like Bharat is usually the shelter, the land who is providing most of the saints nowadays. But those people, they come to France because there is wealth. In India, it's not so accessible, the security is difficult, you don't know. But what happens is when you come into the kingdom of France, then basically you have to work so hard, and the atmosphere is so congenial to materialistic propensities that you lose yourself. And you don't have any time, any favorable environment to develop higher qualities, higher values and principles. So this kingdom of France is maybe wealthy, but is deprived of higher values, principles, vision, direction, character, people, spirituality, and therefore we produce basically in mass people who are dangerous, people who are, though educated, violent, though beautifully dressed inside, really mean and envious, though apparently in peace, we lead war elsewhere, though apparently in good houses, inside we live in a mess. Though having children, we put them in front of the machines and we don't take care of their education. So apparently in France it looks good, but in the inside the people are not so actually advanced in their consciousness. So that's the problem, the main problem of nowadays society. And this is just because Mr. Macron is not dependent upon the advice of some enlightened souls. Rather, is dependent upon the lobbying of the mercantile class. You know, we call that the hemicycle. Government, basically, government is taking advice of the lobbying. Those who are rich enough to come into close contact with the politician and advise them to give that law and that law to provide them better market. So when the money rules, then it is in favor of those who have the money. So we see how money has corrupted the political class, how mercantile men have taken over, and how money is actually directing the whole evolution of society. We think in terms of happiness because of money. The more we have money, the more we fight for our salary, the more we will be happy. But Prabhupada is saying, no, actually people are still not happy like that. They're happy. They're unhappy. Because the rulers have no vision, spiritual vision to provide, no higher ideas of happiness, no higher values than enjoyment of the senses. Therefore, we call that a rat race. Going into the wheel over and over, running after happiness, working, winning some money, spending, thinking that it's happiness. They realize it's not, and they work even more. They buy something else, they consume it, and they realize actually that was not enough, and so on and so on. And basically, we easily spend our whole life pursuing illusions. Illusions that I can be happy, but this is what I'm missing. Actually, we can be happy, but this is what I'm missing. This is inside. So, Sanatana Dharma should be ruling over the king, driving Varnashram Dharma. So, Sanatana Dharma means spirituality, bhakti. Pure bhakti should drive Varnashram Dharma, the society, and the different classes. And Sanatana Dharma is, in this age, is exemplified by Saripun. Itavan eka lokesmin paradharmo smritha bhakti yogo bhagavati tannamagradhadibi. Itavan lokesmin, itavan pumsa lokesmin. The Dharma for everyone is Bhakti Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga begins by Tannamagradhadibi, by chanting the holy name. So it's not also in this age, but in every age, that the Lord should be glorified. When you are the king, you are the representative of God. And when you are the representative of God, you chant His name. And when you are chanting His name, then basically Krishna is present. So, when it says that wherever two persons are discussing about the glories of Krishna, Krishna is present, personally present. Similarly, wherever a king and his subject is serving the Lord, he is personally present. And then the whole kingdom can become a spiritual place, a holy place. So we've seen how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord himself, being a Brahmana of the highest order, sannyasa, he was cooperating with the king Prataparudra, and Prataparudra was letting full facilities for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to chant the holy name. And still today, 500 years later, people are still touched by this. and they are still continuing to chant the holy name and to speak about Lord Chaitanya, and it has become history. And if the king, if the management let facilities for Sankirtan to happen and to spread, then the whole kingdom and the whole people can start to appreciate what they are looking for, happiness, but in another form, in the form that they were not expecting, in the form of spirituality. Yesterday we were in Harinam and nearly maybe 100% danced, maybe 50 joined, maybe 1,000 have heard the holy name. At least 10 of them received books, 10 of them received prasadam. So the impact is there. Mr. Macron and the police may not let us officially the right to do so, but we take that right and they tolerate it for now. So that's really good. And we can see how when the real leader, who is a Sankirtan leader, like we have Jananda Maharaj here, and he's the leader of Sankirtan, and everybody is stimulated. Everybody is driving by a sense that I have a mission, I have to contribute, I have to be compassionate, I have to extend myself to others. And such a leader, Sankirtan leader, is able to change the society, to bring a revolution to a certain scale, but it's possible. If we want our society to change, it's most likely that it will happen by Sankirtan, and if there is a Sankirtan leader powerful enough by chanting purely the holy name, then the revolution can happen, be it in the street, inside doors. You know, in the French history, it's not that revolution happens spontaneously. Generally, there is always preparation behind. So the French king was dead because there were some people who were trying to take over the king place. So many wealthy people were trying to raise opinion in the society that the king was courted, and they managed by a lot of money to instigate a plot against him. Therefore, the mercantile men managed to take over by steering the population, the anger of the population, by saying this king is not giving you money, this king is actually ruining you, this king is a thief, this king is that. And when the king died, then those mercantile men took over and they acted in the same way. But now it's more difficult for us to know who is who because there are many. And the king is easy, is visible. You have to refer to him. But mercantile men behind politicians, they are really, really difficult to see and to take out, you know. Because they have money, they have a lot of power, but they are not officially in place. They are the one giving the order by giving the money. It's really difficult. The politicians are protecting them, but they are acting. They are basically the Vaishya are the new Brahmanas. By giving money, they instruct people, you have to do that, you do the law like that. Before, the Brahmanas, they will just give advice, and people will follow. But now, money. Money is the spiritual instruction, and Vaishya is the Brahmana. And the politician, they follow the Brahmanas, like that. And similarly, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, this leadership of Sankirtan was able to give a revolution, to re-spiritualize what was before lost, the spirit of pure bhakti. So this flow of love of Godhead is the real revolution. It happens by Sankirtan, and a proper leader will try to administrate that, or encourage this, lead that, do it in any way. So this is the Sankirtan revolution. In the same way that the French Revolution happened, the head of the king was taken out. Now we can put the feet of Krishna into the kingdom, and the feet of Krishna is not a revolution for wealth, but a revolution of spirit. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was able to change the heart of many people, to inspire them, because Sankirtan is a powerful revolutionary tool. Love of God is what everyone looks for, because it's the epitome of happiness. If you have love of God for Krishna, then you realize I should put some color into my life. There is some beauty into my life. There is some purpose into my life. I can benefit everyone. It's easily accessible. It's for free. So, and it elevates my consciousness. It gives me distaste for everything which is of a lower nature. And by Sankirtan, if managers, president, leaders, they administrate Sankirtan nicely, and it's spread in the society, then as we have seen yesterday, then everybody can partake to it. Be it Muslim, be it African, be it Chinese. Yesterday, African, Chinese, Japanese, old, young people, everybody were dancing. So this unity in the society, despite our difference of culture and bodily appearance, it can happen if we lead Sankirtan. And not only that, but basically so many people, they are with their phone taking picture of the Sankirtan party, because sometimes it's just the only thing in their day that looks nice. You understand? The only people they see happy, the only people who are kind to them, the only people who give them attention, the only people who give them happiness without asking for money, the only people who look colorful, the only people who are not behaving like crazy men. And sometimes we had the Sankirtan party is the ray of light in those citizens, in passion and ignorance. And it's so accessible easily for everybody, because as soon as the kirtan is well done, the holy name is potent, then naturally the soul is dancing, Krishna is taking control over the body, the legs and the feet are starting to move, and naturally people are there dancing. So it's even imposing on themselves. This happiness is just imposed on them. So much that they become to spontaneously dance. They don't know why they are doing, but they are doing. So actually the revolution of consciousness begins by that. And if the leaders of today's world, they don't want to let us do that, then we have to find a way to do it. Maybe through social media, maybe through internet, maybe through YouTube. We cannot do it in the street. But revolution is generally starting informally, then it becomes visible, then it becomes acknowledged, and then it takes over. So where do you think we stand in ISKCON in France? Are we visible? We are not far from the revolutionary stage. We are not far to impose something on the society, but at least we're starting to become visible. At least informally we are there preparing something. We have a vision, we have an idea, we have plan. At least it's there. But if we really want the revolution to happen, we have to become visible. Because temple is nice, but we are not visible in the temple. Temple is there to plan or to reach out. And from the temple we can be visible from the social media and so on. But particularly we are not existing on internet. So if we are not existing on internet, at least we should exist outside. So either we exist on internet nowadays, either we exist on the street. But we have to become visible so that people, they start to understand maybe something is happening. And we should become so visible that at some point the authorities, they take us into account. Okay, maybe you want a place in the middle of Paris because what you are doing is nice. What you are doing is nice. You bring people together, they chant, dance, they eat, they are happy. We need that in the society. Prabhupada would say they don't see the value. They don't see the value. Nowadays, politicians, they don't see the value of the Krishna consciousness movement. But the Krishna consciousness movement is the best welfare activities for the society. So if the leaders are in higher modes, in sattva, in transcendence, then they will appreciate what we are doing, like Mr. President Modi. At least he's not against it. Rather, he encourages. He's distributing Bhagavad Gita to President. It's really good. If we have President Macron, then we have to go by indirect ways. But we should go. We should become visible. We should be acknowledged somehow or another. We should be popular. We should be influencers. Not that we are looking for that, but by chanting the holy name purely, naturally, it will come to that. Like Prabhupada. He was starting simply under a tree, and he was attracting. Because he was carrying the honey of the holy name. And naturally, people are like bees. They want to taste honey. In today's world, money is the honey. But if we give them spiritual wealth, then they will see, oh, actually, I thought that was honey. I was just leaking the bottle. Like that. Hare Krishna. So if you have any question, otherwise I think Pascal is ready. Yeah. So in the purport you can I will just finish on that. When the prajas, the citizens, this is just the last sentence. When the prajas become Krishna conscious, they can expect a good government and good society. So that's really important because often we put the blame of the society's condition on the leader. But Prabhupada is saying opposite. If we ourselves become Krishna conscious, then we can expect a better society. So we should not expect from our leader the first move. We have to take the initiative. And then we could expect a good society, a perfect life, and a liberation. So it's good because it's empowering. We are not dependent on them. We can be the change we want to see. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. You want to ask a question? Say something.
Saying that the person he hid something in his under his jacket, and then he was asking to Narada Muni and everybody that because of that, whether that is because I heard that the other way is the strange Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said that because of wife of Dhritarashtra, one who was
Gandhari.
Gandhari.
She cursed.
She cursed
Krishna.
Krishna.
Yes, it's true.
That is also.
Yeah, it's in Mahabharata.
for the destruction of
Gandhari cursed Krishna. She told, I lost all my son, so you should lost all your son. So all the family of Krishna has been cursed by Gandhari the first time. And they had to live in 35 years. The curse was, you will leave this world in 35 years. Now, Gandhari didn't pronounce how they would live, how they had to leave the world. But the Brahmanas, they did. They say, you will leave the world by dying from this black mass of steel. You know the story? The Yadus, they thought, oh my God, this mace, this black mass of steel will be the cause of our destruction. Let it, make it into powder and throw it into the ocean. So when the ocean drove those little pieces of dust of black steel, it went into the coast, and the water from the coast was sucked by the bamboo cane. Those bamboo cane, they were the weapon that the Yadus used to kill themselves, each others. And this, there were one little bigger piece of black steel, and that black steel was used by Jada the hunter to make an arrow and throw that arrow to the feet of Krishna, which he used as a pretext to leave this world. So, the main reason for this event to happen is that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, if the Yadus, they had to leave this world, Hare Krishna, welcome. If the Yadus had to leave this world in that way, it's because in the same way that those who are sons of Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, they pose themselves as the legitimate heritage of Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The only, some of them are like that, the only those who can initiate people, those who can deliver people. Similarly, Krishna envisioned that the Yadus, the son and great-son and great-great-great-great-grandson in the Kali Yuga, they will pose themselves as sons of God. We are coming from the Krishna's dynasty. Therefore, you should listen to me. We are like God. And only by us you can attain God. So Krishna envisioned in the Kali Yuga, the great-great-great-grandson of my family, they would pose themselves as the legitimate God on earth. I don't want that to happen. Because what happened is dynasty, you know, when we come from a great dynasty, we take pride in it. Some in India it's prevalent. I'm born from such and such Brahmana family in Gotra and so on, and I'm a Brahmana, and I can, only me can a Brahmana. If you want to be a Brahmana, you have to take birth again in my family, isn't it? Like that. This is the mentality, because we want power and we want prestige. We are proud of our power, and our family can be a source of prestige and pride and power. Therefore, we use that to control others. Krishna saw that. So he thought, better I have to remove my family, because otherwise if I let them populate, we create havoc. And then, okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. so-called school.